Speaking of lazy and stupid and ignorant and foolish and violent and weird, Bongino, who of course is looking for TP for his bunghole and has been for a very long time, is currently, I think, fresh from the Man Fest with Josh Hawley at the Christian Monster Truck Rally, where they played "Welcome to the Jungle." I think it was actually, I didn't hear all the lyrics. I think they changed the words "Welcome to the Bunghole" for him. I mean, it's an honor. I mean, and by the way, this is a show he does called Unfiltered. So one is to presume that every other show that Bongino does is somehow filtered or censored on his behalf, or that this show is ironically unfiltered, which is, it's kind of like Byron Allen has that show Comics Unleashed. I've been on there, and comics have never been more leashed than they are on that show. You have to prep your bits. It's all contrived. There's nothing free about it. It's very weird. Okay, so let's see. This, by the way, this is Bongholio. Biden's presidency is apocalyptic, but like in a GIF kind of a way.
Folks, it was a good week for free speech. Elon's getting ready to...
And again, it's a good week for free speech, as I could tell in my teleprompter.
Take the reins here at Twitter to allow the free flow of ideas again. As for the left, well, they kind of melted down a bit. Here's what they had to say about it.
The thing is, the enjoyment they get out of being in this town square is being able to harass people. Elon Musk, I guess he misses the old South Africa in the 80s. He wants that back.
It seems to me that it's about free speech.
So it's apparently, is Bongholio only on there to get black people's reactions to stuff? Is this like Fox wants to go after how black women have responded to this? So they can't, they'll get in deep shit. None of the other hosts will touch it. And the only ones that will get drummed off the air like Kilmeade. So Bongholio gets thrown in. They put together this clip, like this mashup, this montage for his show.
Straight white men. And so let them have it.
You don't even have to be transparent. You could secretly ban one party's candidate or all of its candidates.
Also, by the way, there is an argument that Ari Melber is a black woman, if only for his musical tastes. I'm kidding. Relax.
Or you could just secretly turn down the reach of their stuff and turn up the reach of something else, and the rest of us might not even find out about it till after the election.
Now I get it. You're like, oh, it's going to be another show about Elon. No, it's not. Actually,
apparently that's the feedback that they're getting, that you're so busy filleting Elon Musk that your own, was he on once a week?
Actually,
and his viewers are already bored.
It's going to do a little head fake for you. Listen, it's nice to take a victory lap with Elon potentially taking over at Twitter, but folks, this is just one battle. This fight is barely started.
Yeah, I mean, next up, we got to go after Amazon. If my products can't get pushed to the top of the list, I don't even know.
Here's what I mean.
Okay, good. Finally, he's going to tell us, because I've been watching for years and I still don't know.
When you hear the words big tech, what probably comes to mind? You know
what really comes to mind? Can I be honest? When people say big tech, let's see. Let's see if I can. Let's see. If you hold on, I've got to blow this up a little bit. Get out of here. Quit it. This I want to show you guys. This is what I like when somebody asks me what, like, when anybody says big tech, this is immediately what I think. That's what I think. Anytime just somebody says big tech, I think of big mechs like Titanfall, Pacific Rim, any of that stuff. That's when if you say big tech, that's what immediately comes to mind. Autobots. That's right. Autobots assemble. Right. Every time. Not that so much. This pretty close. Yeah. Robotech comes to mind. Steel Battalion. Metal Gear Solid. You say big tech, this is what I think. And by the way, I can't fucking wait for this stuff to show up. I mean, I'd rather it not be used for war. I think it'd be nice to see kind of a, like super football played this way in these giant machines with people inside these cylinders that, can't be harmed. So all of our esports guys can actually operate these things from the inside. Yeah. There you go. This shit right here. That's what I think. When somebody says big tech, that's what I think. I do not think Google. I don't. And the logo for Google just must drive them crazy. They're all like, it's gay. It means gay. Look at all the colors. It's gay. Like, it's like gaggle. God. You could tell that people at Fox, when they see the Google logo, they're like, rainbow. Ah!
The major players, the Twitters, the Facebooks, the YouTubes, you get it.
MySpace. AOL Online. Anything. Yeah. Anything any bulletin board from the early 90s that started with a
They're at the center of everyone's focus and attention.
Yeah, most of the time.
Because they're in your face every single day.
Well, no, I mean, they're not in my face. You have to pick up your phone, put your phone in your face. Your phone's in your face, and then these things are in the phone. They're not in your face every day. You wouldn't even notice them if you didn't pick up your fucking phone. Don't pick up your phone first thing. And if you do, have something else on there. Either have a book reading app or I have a to-do list thing that I look at,
You already know the censorship, they're capable of it. They've kicked you in the cojones with it. And
have they? I do not have that adapter for my phone. There's another thing that does attach to your cojones. And I personally, I'm going to look that up. It's still like, let's see. iPhone linked. There's got to be some sort of, how do I not get it? Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't so much kick you in the cojones. It's a different thing altogether. But it hooks up to your phone. I wouldn't use it personally. I'm not here to yuck anybody's yum, but it makes me, the whole process, the idea makes me nervous. But so far I have not been quote unquote kicked in the cojones by my phone at any point. Whoops, shit. Sorry.
Could just see
you in the cojones with it. And they do it in plain sight. I mean,
I beg your pardon. First of all, why do you have your cojones and your phone out in plain sight?
they banned Donald Trump, the president of the United States.
Yeah, but only after he led a violent insurrection on the Capitol. They didn't give a fuck before that. As a matter of fact, they let him stay on past the time he should have been kicked off if he was like anybody else. In America, where supposedly nobody's above the law and the rules apply equally to everyone, he managed to skate by without being, having to face the music for a very long time. I guess you just support elitists and the ability that there should be an upper class that doesn't have to pay attention to the rules while the rest of us plebes have to pay attention to everything we say or we'll get kicked off.
Censor the Hunter Biden story, did that too.
What Hunter Biden story? I'm not familiar. It was censored from my my feed, I guess. Did they ever find the laptop? Has anybody ever seen it besides the guy who can't see?
And Trump done. I've warned you about it for years. It's not
no, it's nothing new. I mean, we know you're not saying anything new, Bongholio.
Not a secret. But what about the big tech power players and kind of sub players underneath them that
like eBay, Etsy.
Don't make front page news all the time.
Right. Like Pornhub. No, they're always on the Daily Beast.
You may see these stories on page 2 or 3, but that's where the real experience of censorship is happening.
On page 2 and 3? How am I supposed to read it? Wouldn't those pages be blacked out?
I'm telling you, I've been there, I've seen it, I've lived it.
You've lived, yes. Bongholio has been on page 3.
Here are a few examples. First, what about Wikipedia?
Yeah, what about Wikipedia? Am I right?
You really don't hear Wikipedia much, especially when it comes to the big tech censorship game. But don't doubt me on this.
Why would I?
Wikipedia is becoming a powerful source for censorship and rewriting history, and they're just as influential in some cases as social media is.
Yeah, and you know who told me that? The New York Post.
I mean, everyone freaked out that Twitter censored the Hunter Biden laptop story, which of course was true before the
No, it wasn't, and no, they didn't.
election. But
You guys did. You guys freaked out because it was your only shot to win.
strangely, the mainstream media has largely avoided the Wikipedia story, scrubbing Hunter Biden's connections to a major investment firm whose executives met with Hunter Biden, or should I say, remember the big guy at the White House? Weird how that story kind of disappeared, right? Rewriting history, live time.
Hold on. All right, let's look it up. Wikipedia deletes entry for Hunter Biden Rosebud. This is the story. This is April 23rd. Wikipedia deletes entry. Oh, it's the same pictures that the current picture. So they're all using the same photographs. Dismiss. Wikipedia editors removed the entry for Rosemont Seneca Partners earlier this week on the ground that it was not notable. Archive comments from the talk page reveal. The deletion happened Wednesday. The investment company co-founded by Hunter Biden has been the heart of numerous questions surrounding his overseas business dealings. The organization is only mentioned in connection with its famous founders, Hunter Biden and Christopher Hines. A wiki editor identified only as Alex, who initially warned that keeping it around ran the risk of the page becoming a magnet for conspiracy theories about Hunter Biden. Arguments to merge the story with Hunter Biden's official Wikipedia page were also overruled. The brief article. Oh, I see. So their own page is not necessary. That's what it is. So the page itself, it's still listed on his page. The brief article was thin on details and in bad need of overhaul, but did provide information the company's founding by Hunter. Yeah, the brief article was thin on details. So this is the old. Yeah. This is the part that was pulled out, which, by the way, you can look at all the time. This is literally just a parking spot for all the, that's what they were talking about, these references. Hunter Biden's web of interests, Rosemont Seneca Partners, LLC, retrieved in there. Again, in Pittsburgh's charms attract another young professional, Christopher Hines, Farewell NYC, Rosemont Seneca Partners, LLC, open corporate. Will Hunter Biden jeopardize his father's campaign? That's where it gets into. Fact check claims that Hunter Biden received 3.1 unproven, lack context. Will Hunter Biden jeopardize his father's campaign? Another version of the same one. Explainer Trump's claims and Hunter Biden dealings in China. The gas tycoon and the vice president's son. The story of Hunter Biden's foray into Ukraine. Washington Post. Gas tycoon and the same one twice. Biata puts in $30 million in funding to help predict the global spread of disease. All right. Judge revived conviction of Hunter Biden's ex-business partner. Court reinstates fraud conviction for Hunter Biden business partner. Okay, so basically this was going to become a parking lot for stories about that. Meanwhile, there are stories about Rosemont Seneca in his own article, right? And there's Devin Archer, right? Wikipedia has tilted so far left in recent years. The co-founder Larry Sanger now says the site cannot no longer be trusted and has become propaganda. Very busy, nasty. And again, how do you know that Alex, the editor on this, isn't a Russian editor? Isn't a fake account? How do you know? Just so this story can come up, right? They just get in there and start swiping stuff. They've been in there for years. Nobody knows. And so it creates a news story whenever they need it. I don't give a fuck if this story's in there or if that's on Wikipedia. Do you? Do you think this has any impact on the overall story? No. But somebody going in and removing information so obviously and blatantly would draw attention. So, boring. Deletes entry for Hunter Biden investment firm, Seneca Partners.
Now you're probably saying, come on, Dan, Wikipedia, that doesn't influence public opinion. You sure about that?
Yeah, there's a bunch of people that still think I'm vegan and dating a suicide girl.
Why did a former clerk for Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson, soon to be Justice, help Wikipedia rewrite the bios of all the Supreme Court candidates to help, according to Politico, bolster the page of his former boss while altering the pages for competitors in an apparent attempt to invite liberal skepticism? And when you know, 2 months later, Ketanji Brown Jackson is confirmed to the Supreme
Dun, dun, dun. It's the Wikipedia nexus.
Court with little more than a whisper.
with little more than a whisper. She met with every senator. Fucking Lindsey Graham voted for her for the federal bench.
Folks on the right. Wikipedia is actually rewriting history as we speak.
Do you rely on Wikipedia for history? I don't.
In an effort to gaslight an entire nation in live time. Oh, there's more. I'm not done. Then there's the Apple App Store. You know about Apple, of course, but you know
Oh, yeah, the App Store.
about the App Store? Where you go to get apps?
Well, that's what you do. I do something completely different.
Well, one of the most powerful platforms online, the App Store, they have a monopoly over there.
No, they don't have a monopoly. They have a product and they have their own app store for it. Other products have their own app store because the software has to work on their product and can't conflict with the security that the user expects or the quality of the other apps or violate any of the TOS. So they have to vet and make sure the code works for all the things on the App Store. So they have to have their own app store. You can't have a secondary app store because you'd fuck up the phone.
They can just about ban any content they want. Politics don't even need to be involved.
Right. I mean, it depends on how political the snuff videos that you want to watch are, Bongholio, but I'm sure there are a lot of videos that would be available on a lot of apps with a lot of penis cuffs that would hook up via Bluetooth that you'd want to see that I don't see them putting them out through the App Store. I just don't see it.
They once attacked Fortnite, banned Fortnite, which is one of the most popular online games for young people
Yeah.
with more than 300 million
Why do they do that?
registered users. Apple made the app disappear off the store. Check out this headline. Fortnite to be blacklisted from App Store until their legal battle subsides.
Fortnite to be blacklisted from App Store until, shall we? Reuters. Okay, here we go. Epic Games. Apple bars Epic's Fortnite from App Store until all court appeals end. Has blacklisted Fortnite from the iPhone maker's App Store for several years until all court appeals are done. Epic Games Chief Executive Officer Tim Sweeney said on Wednesday. Epic Games' opening brief in its appeal to the U.S. Ninth Circuit Court is due December 12th. Sweeney took to Twitter on Wednesday, calling out Apple's move and said the company will continue to fight the tech giant. It's another extraordinary anti-competitive move by Apple, demonstrating their power to reshape markets and choose winners and losers. The two companies have been locked in a legal dispute since August last year, when the game maker tried to get around Apple's 30% fee on some in-app purchases from the App Store by launching its own in-app payment system. The U.S. tech giant is facing a raft of other legal and regulatory challenges to rules it forces game makers to follow, including closely watched antitrust lawsuit. Yes, because if you have an app that has in-app purchases, they have a 30% rule because that's their audience they've designed, and they have to do all this extra shit, and you can't just get around that. And if everybody else has to do it, so do you. That's what this is. They didn't just ban them. Epic Games tried to sell stuff inside without paying their 30% up on there. You can still, fucking hell. You can still buy all that shit on your account on Epic Games, or buy all that shit online when you're playing at home.
Remember Parler? Oh, I remember that well.
Oh yeah, I remember Parler, like 700, or was it 70 terabytes of Parler information on all the users, all their pictures, all their videos, all their metadata, all their personal information, their passwords, and all that kind of stuff was dumped on the internet because some fuckhead ran the joint and was using the trial version of online security software on the website.
It's alive now, but they tried to kill it. The conservative social media alternative was #1 at the time. It was pulled offline overnight. I lived through it because Apple, Amazon, and Google said so. As an early investor, I had a front row seat to that nightmare. You say, come on. What about Google? There's no evidence Google's targeting conservatives either. Come on. You really? You sure about that one? Here's a headline from The Hill.
Notice this asshole is doing nothing but reading headlines.
Hundreds of meetings between the White House and Google.
Hundreds. By April. So Biden had been in office for about a month, maybe 2 months, and already in less than 90 days, hundreds of meetings. Let me see. All right, maybe so. Report finds hundreds, whoops, I can spell, of meetings between White House and Google. This is, oh. Mario Trujillo wrote this. Do you guys see the date? It's The Hill. Look at the date. Okay? Now, I just found this article. What? Wait for it. Look at this. Report finds hundreds of meetings between the White House and Google, right? Mario Trujillo, 4/22/16. (4/22/2021), 4/22/16. So that they just put this report out on the same day. Google and its affiliates had 400 meetings during Obama's tenure, according to data from the Campaign of Accountability Intercept. The data gleaned from the White House meeting log showed that in all, 169 Google employees have met in the White House with 182 government officials, not surprisingly, head of public policy. So the report highlights the access enjoyed by Google, which is expensive lobbying operation in Washington, consistently ranks among the highest spenders. In just a quarter of this year, Google spent $3.8 million in lobbying the government. Meeting data spans from the first month of Obama's presidency to 2009 to October 2015. Over 6 years. Aside from Google staff and lobbyists, the data also takes into account White House meetings with companies, Tomorrow Ventures, and Civis Analytics. So these guys also count as Google. Anything under Google with them, that's the hundreds of meetings. Tomorrow Ventures is an investment vehicle of Eric Schmidt, the executive chairman of Google's parent company Alphabet, and he is the sole investor in Civis Analytics. The numbers also show 55 times in which Google employees took jobs in the federal government, 197 times when government employees went to work for Google. I mean, it's a giant fucking company, even back then. Google responded to similar reports last year from the Wall Street Journal and the company's visits during an antitrust probe led by the Federal Trade Commission. In past March, Google wrote, of course, we've had many meetings at the White House over the years. The company has said the meetings have a wide range of topics, including self-driving cars, advertising, internet censorship, trade, cybersecurity, civic innovation, help with healthcare.gov, and other issues. But that's fucked up. I mean, never mind the fact that Biden hadn't been in office long enough to have hundreds of meetings with Google, for fuck's sake, in April of 21. But this article is literally, everything about it is the same except the year. See? The Hill. Fucking hell, is this lazy. I'm starting to think that this is a graphic that they've concocted, and they didn't tear the paper out like they were the Unabomber at all.
Strange, right?
Yeah, very strange. I found it very strange that this fucking article is off by 5 years. Yeah, both on the Hill. Look at this. There's the Hill, the Hill. Mario Trujillo, that's this guy right here.
Here's a quote from an article in Courts. Google's power.
Hold on. This is fading out. Hold on. Back up 1 second. And then, so this guy, Mario Trujillo wrote it, and then that's the only difference is the date right here. 4/22/16, 11 a.m. And then this dickhead, 4/22/2021. That's amazing. That is like the lamest bullshit we've seen so far. And, you know, if it wasn't for a show like this, would anybody bother to look this shit up? Hey, Bongholio, you're a fucking liar. And, like, it's the easiest proof in the world. Look at this. Look at this shit. Fuck you. You're just counting on nobody looking. See, that's why I do this show. Because otherwise, like, when are you not gonna, when is anybody gonna look up this bullshit and call them out on it? Holy hell, that's lame. Jesus. Oh, crap, sorry. There we go. Yeah, right there. Yeah. So, and he's going to tie this to another story. So this is something from 2016.
Unlike many other categorizations it has of you, it won't tell you what it guesses you are.
2019. Google's powerful tracking system lets advertisers target ads to you or hide them from you based on Google's guess of your political leaning.
Politics to be. Folks, it's happening all.
So who gives a... Of course it does. Because campaigns are looking for Republican or Democratic voters or independents or whatever the fuck. So they're going to, when they're buying ads, they're going to want to go, hey, can you target directly? Like, why is this a fucking surprise? This is like, these assholes are like, the government can figure out where you're spending all your money and where you're going and what you're doing. Like, yeah, so can fucking Visa, Amazon. Like, the fact that the government can just buy these services these days, like any other company, it's like, you're boring me, for fuck's sake.
All around us, the App Store, Google Ad Network, Wikipedia. Google Ads is one of the most powerful, devastating tools the left has to censor conservative voices.
What the fuck are you talking about? It's also how the right can sell shit.
It's not all about Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube.
Yeah, apparently their whole storyline is dying because if Elon Musk takes over and it doesn't become some sort of like snuff film and beheading paradise, free speech is, you know, is dead.
And let's check out which political party, by the way, speaking of Apple, they prefer. Yeah, it's crazy, right? Bunch of people who donate and support leftists all the time. Well, what about Alphabet? You know,
well, I don't know about leftists, but they definitely support Dems.
Google's parent company.
There's also, you know, uppers versus lowers and how much everybody can give. There's a lot more like workers at Apple and Google that work at stores, that work you know, in coding, that work in servicing, that work at call centers and all that kind of stuff. And they tend to donate in smaller donations to Democrats, whereas some of the richer dudes tend to give to, you know, the GOP.
Wow, interesting, right? Look at that. You think?
Yeah, there are fewer executives than there are average workers at Alphabet and Apple.
These people don't have skin in the game. You'd see that right on the screen right there.
In 2022 election cycle political contributions, just Alphabet, Dem, GOP, just the company itself, just in general. That you're not going to give me a number. You're not going to give me the people. You're not going to give me the per dollar. You're like every employee there given $25 that they have versus a couple of executives. Get out of here.
What about Twitter? Folks, all you have to do is follow the money.
Jesus Christ. First of all, paltry. Like 99% of 100 of Jesus Christ, of 116 some odd $1,000. That's pitiful. Like, that's it? Jesus Christ. Go easy on the lobbying, guys. Fucking hell. Hey, there's not a single Democrat that doesn't owe them their political existence. What?
To see which
I'm serious. That's paltry.
Political party Twitter's devoted to. Finally.
Well, apparently to nobody, because I like that's what is that? 2.5 people?
The power. Here's another power center.
Oh shit! What was that edit? Hold on. Back the fuck up. They had to cut around it.
Party Twitter's devoted to. Finally, the power. Here's another power center.
Whoa. just not bothering with a real edit anymore, Fox? They just don't give a shit? You know nobody's watching, right?
And you don't hear about enough.
No, you
The
don't.
fact checkers, which is hilarious because they're really opinion checkers. They're the howitzer in the left's censorship arsenal.
Wow, this is a big claim here and tough claims. Let's look at the facts here, though.
To help us break down some of the biggest whoppers of the year is CNN reporter and fact checker.
We're going to fact check the president's lies again.
So for more on these facts, we turn to our own Desi Lidek with what the actual facts.
Jane, thanks very much for your fact check.
Again, why is this? Oh, and it's going to be a personal attack. Dan Bongino shared a video. Independent fact checkers reviewed a similar video and said it was missing context and could mislead people. Facebook determined your post has the same video with missing context and added a notice to the post. There's no evidence of U.S.-funded bioweapon labs in Ukraine. Claims to the contrary misrepresent the U.S. Cooperative Threat Reduction Agreement health feedback. Okay, so Bongino posted a, see, I told you there were biolabs in Ukraine bullshit, and he got called on it. Now he's pissed. By the way, I guess we can put Bongino in the Ukraine had it coming category.
Okay, let me show you how this clown show works with the fact checkers, all right? All they need to do is flag your posts. It's usually because of the politics of it.
Yeah, it's just the politics of it. I mean, you know, one side thinks the Ukrainian people have the right to fight for their own independence and live in a sovereign country. The other side thinks they're Nazis with biolabs.
Using a fact check story, and then your
And it's 6 of one, half dozen of another, honestly.
post on a social media platform, its reach is suppressed. I've personally experienced it. This is a picture of the back end of my page, Facebook. We get this all the time. Independent fact checkers have said it's missing context. You know what the context is? The lunatic fact checking my page is a liberal. That's
What part of it? I mean, I don't care what your opinion of that person is. It's more than likely an algorithm because they're going through the words you're saying and they're checking it against it. I don't think it's an individual most of the time. And then they get a review of it digitally after the fact. But what did you say? Play your shit. Let me see.
What's the context missing? Sorry, that was not in the prompter, of course. Most of my stuff isn't. You want me to prove the left is cornered? This
Most of my stuff isn't in the prompter. Is his admission that he's been reading the prompter the whole time.
censorship market, they lose their minds when a fact-checking website has ties to a right-leaning outlet. They can't have any of that. They're missing context, right? Freeing Twitter from the left. Hey, listen, that's nice. I bet you this is all going to be about Elon, right? But let's not lose focus.
Why does he keep why does he keep going back to that? Is that a problem on his show?
On the real fight. This is just the beginning. Elon and Twitter. They're real, quiet, powerful, big tech threats coming from everywhere, and they want nothing more than to silence you. We can't back off this fight because the left isn't going to back off.
No, we must seize the power back from Wikipedia.
Either.
Our concerns are not new.
This is the Ministry of Truth shit. They're panicking about
We've
this.
long talked about, and the president has long talked about his concerns about the power of social media platforms, including Twitter and others, to spread misinformation.
Yeah, thanks, Jen. We know. Folks, listen, let's update on this one. We're 15 months into the administration, and Joe Biden simply couldn't be doing any worse.
Actually, his numbers are going up. I want to say that. Hold on. Biden's numbers. Hold on one second. There's a Fox article that I was looking for. Was it on where I was on? I think I saw it on Raw Story. I want to see. Damn, I have to find it. Hold on. There was a Fox News pundit who was freaking out because Biden's. Let's see. Let's see if it comes out. Yeah, here it is. Yeah, this came up. This was fun. I got to shrink it down a little bit for you guys. There we go. Hi, Raw Story. Excuse you. I'm just so mad. Fox News host throws a fit because Biden's wartime poll numbers are inching up. Fox News host Rachel Campos Duffy on Sunday lashed out at Democrats who've noticed the President Joe Biden's poll numbers are on the rise as he handles the war in Ukraine. During a segment on Fox News about the Ukraine war, Campos Duffy argued that Biden could have deployed more military resources before the conflict began, so that everybody could say he was ratcheting up and trying to start a war. Why didn't you act sooner? I say that because Democrats right now are very ecstatic over what they see poll numbers inching up for Joe Biden. CNN contributor Chris Cillizza said now there is an opportunity for a Biden comeback. They're looking at it as a political opportunity to somehow show this wartime president, we didn't need a wartime president. We got one because he was so weak. I'm sorry. I know you guys are focusing on all the troop movements, but I'm so mad we're in this situation. This is... let me see if I can blow this up. I'll just open it on YouTube.
Do anything with Finland and other things. I'm still amazed at just how behind the ball. And you noticed yesterday, even in the call that Zelensky had with the senators, he's asking for help, but he still can't help himself from saying, why didn't you guys act sooner? Yeah. Why didn't you act sooner? And I say that because Democrats right now are very ecstatic over what they see as poll numbers inching up for Joe Biden. Yesterday, CNN's Chris Cillizza said there's now a possibility of a Biden comeback. They are really looking at what their failure, they're looking at it as a political opportunity to somehow show this wartime president. We didn't need a wartime president. We got one because he was so weak. And I'm sorry. I know you guys are focusing on all the troop movements. I'm just so mad that we're in this situation to begin with.
To your point, Zelensky...
They couldn't even cut to her. They're showing flaming pits rather than show her speak.
Apparently did chide Joe Biden about not putting economic sanctions on sooner.
Uh-huh. So he basically, he doesn't like it. Yeah.
Unless, of course, he was trying to screw up the country on purpose. Where have I heard that before? Someone emailed me, or listened to my radio show this week. They said, if Joe Biden were trying to destroy the United States, would he do anything different? I was trying to be objective for a moment, and I thought, if I were...
Dude is playing clips of himself.
...going to destroy the United States, would I do anything different than Joe Biden was doing now?
Well, yeah, you wouldn't pass an infrastructure bill. You just let the bridges collapse. You wouldn't pass a rescue package. That's for fucking sure, because that shored up and saved a bunch of businesses. You wouldn't get us out of Afghanistan. You'd let us burn $300 million a day there forever. You wouldn't lower the deficit. That's for fucking sure, because you'd want to drive the debt up to unmanageable levels. And you wouldn't support Ukraine in this battle because you would want Russia to steamroll over democracy in Europe. So, yeah, you would have to do a lot different.
Really?
Really?
That was a great question. If you were trying to destroy the country, would you do anything different? No, come to think of it, I wouldn't. Seems like other outlets are also starting to take on...
Other outlets, yeah, Washington Examiner. Mm-hmm.
A good hard look at Joe Biden's apocalyptic performance as commander-in-chief, too. Let's get a little report card refresher, shall we?
Shall we?
What's gotten better here? Well,
jobs, the deficit, are not being in Afghanistan anymore. Our infrastructure's on the mend. We're reshoring factories faster than any time in American history. We've got a good new... I mean, obviously, you're going to have an issue with the SCOTUS as it stands. Let's see. Yeah, so far, so good.
The economy, what about that?
Well, I mean, worldwide, we're actually doing way better. Gas is expensive, but it's cheaper than it is anywhere else in the industrialized world.
Actually, that's gotten worse.
Yeah, but consumer spending was up 0.7%.
GDP dropped 1.4% in the first quarter of 2022. Folks, that's disastrous. We're coming out of a pandemic. We should be high flying right now in the economy to let pent up demand. What about inflation? Nope.
Right. Let's see. 921, 322, up to, 8%.
That's not getting any better either. It's headed in the wrong direction, Joe. Still a big...
Yeah, that's supply shock. Still doesn't have anything to do with monetary policy.
F on that one. How about immigration? Joe didn't even turn in his work. And by that, I mean he hasn't even been to the border. How can he fix the problem if he hasn't even seen the problem?
Oh my God. One whole person swimming?
Still a big fat F on that one. What about all that international? Remember this? The
guy swimming towards Constantina Wire. I thought the border was open.
International respect Joe was going to bring back to the White House. Yeah, hard pass on that one, too. Turns out both friends and foes around the
Biden says French President Macron didn't take his call, spoke with staff. Saudi UAE leaders are going to talk gas prices. Yeah, we know that because we don't want to talk. Kim Jong-un ghosts U.S. as Joe Biden's North Korea shakeup looms. Yeah, it's so sad we can't get Kim Jong-un on the phone. Hold on. But let me see the Macron thing. Biden says Macron didn't return and take phone call. Sorry. Take phone call. They bring this one up a lot. French president didn't come to the phone when he called the current Ireland landslide election. Biden said he spoke with the Macron staff instead of Sunday night. President partied in the Eiffel Tower, requiring the U.S. president to call back Monday. I feel good. Oh. Yeah, he just won't talk to him. It's obviously, this is probably left over. This is probably left over from the submarine deal with Australia, you think? You think if we read this article, Bongholio, you think this is going to get us to a point where it shows that the French are ready to join Russia in fighting the U.S.? Or President Biden said Monday that French President Emmanuel Macron didn't come to the phone when he called to congratulate him on his landslide re-election. Biden said he spoke with Macron's staff instead on Sunday night as the French president partied at the Eiffel Tower, requiring the U.S. president to call back on Monday. I feel good about the French election, Biden said as he returned to D.C. from a weekend trip home to Delaware. I tried to talk to him last night. I spoke to his staff, and he was at the Eiffel Tower having a good time, and I'm going to be talking to him today. President calls foreign leaders typically are arranged by White House staff to avoid unscripted or embarrassing moments for the leader of the world's sole superpower. Biden reached Macron on Monday before hosting the Stanley Cup championship winning Tampa Bay Lightning on the White House lawn. Biden spoke today with the President Emmanuel Macron of France to congratulate him on his re-election. He said in a statement, he underscored the close and enduring relations between the United States and France, our oldest ally, based on shared democratic values, economic ties, and security cooperation. The statement said President Biden conveyed his readiness to continue working closely with Macron on shared global priorities. Macron's victory was touted by Ryan Klain as the reasons the Democrats feel hopeful. Klain noted that Macron won despite a 36% approval rating versus Biden's 40% approval, but commentators pointed out the French generally give their presidents much lower marks in the polls than U.S. voters do. That's changing because of attitudes. It's not the first time. Let's see, reported that Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman didn't take too kindly to us giving him shit about killing Khashoggi. Boo fuckity who. Didn't take his call, spoke with. I love this. He's like, never gonna speak to him again. It's terrible. Also, fuck the UAE and Kim Jong-un ghosts the U.S. Please.
The world, like Macron, Putin, Kim Jong-un, and folks around the Middle East won't take his calls. That's another big F for Joe.
Why? Maybe they won't take his calls because he's not sufficiently sucking up to them. Maybe that's a plus. Maybe we should stop sucking up to assholes like that. And Macron did take his call. They did talk.
That's a lot of
He was busy partying on the Eiffel Tower.
F's. That's a scary report card. Listen, it's easy to joke about this stuff.
No, it isn't. I haven't seen a single joke. I've been very disappointed throughout the whole thing. I think my calling you Bongholio is the funniest part of this entire thing. Oh, and that part where I pointed out that you fucking lied about the date on one of the articles by 5 years.
It's not funny.
Yeah, it is. It's kind of funny.
Joe Biden's MIA when it comes to solving any of the real crises in the country right now.
Yeah.
And he and everyone else on the left don't even seem to care.
Hey, they don't. Oh, that's the edit. Don't even seem to care. Out. I'm out. I'm out.
Hey, Sean Hannity.
Hi, Sean Hannity. It's Hannity. Everybody, it's Hannity. It's Sean Hannity.